everyone. Glad you're here. As always, Dr. Toni Coaches. If we haven't virtually met before, I am wellness coach and life advisor for the busy, the ambitious, for businesses and leaders, busy professionals out there that want to master their life. They want to gain control of their life. They want to experience legit balance that actually works, balance that actually lasts, so that you can enjoy more of what there is to enjoy for you in a quality life, both at work and at home, because balance impacts the bottom line. So let's dive in today. Today we're going to talk about something a lot of folks struggle with, and that's time. Tell me if any of this sounds familiar to you, okay? There aren't enough hours in a day. I need more time to get it all done. I just don't have enough time. I'm too busy. Sorry. I wish I had more time too. I feel bad. I can't give more time to ... Once I do this, I'll have more time to do that. But more time never seems to come. Sound familiar? This sounds familiar, some variation of these experiences, these statements, whether you say them to yourself or you say them to someone else, sounds familiar to a lot of folks. Most of the folks I work with are high achievers in their own right. And when high achievers get sucked into a too busy to breathe cycle, they often convince themselves that it's all just a matter of time. And there's always seemingly this time deficiency. There is just never enough time. And if you're here and you can resonate with that, you are certainly not alone. Not that that makes it all better, but you're not alone. All right, so this is something that we need to tend to. This is something we need to do something about because it is affecting so many people. While effective time management, however, does contribute to more freedom and more enjoyment in our lives, there's more to this whole mystic happiness plus success formula that we all desire in our lives in some way, shape, or form than just figuring out the time. There is more to feeling happier and successful in life, to owning your life, to taking control back of your life than just finding the right time management strategy for you, okay? And that's because clarity, motivation, and time are each connected with one another, and they significantly impact the effects that each other has with each of them, okay? For example, do you ever find yourself trying to create more time in your schedule, all the while you're feeling more confused, foggy brains, motivation is low, not having a lot of energy? Have you had that experience? It typically doesn't work out very effectively, does it? And now you're frustrated when you're trying to figure out how to navigate time because you're already confused and have low motivation. But you want to have more motivation. You want to feel less confusing. You want to have more time. And it's like you're trying to navigate how to get each piece, but it's hard to have each piece when you don't have the other piece because you don't have the time to figure out how to feel less confused and how to gain motivation. Like, it all connects, right? It gets that confusing in your head, doesn't it? It goes that fast, even faster sometimes, and can get jumbled in your mind. And so that's why today I want to walk through why this matters and how you can use this information to your advantage, to apply it to your life. All right. So time management is, as I said, a major area of challenge for many, many folks, professionals and leaders alike. And many people feel dissatisfied with how they're spending their time, even if they've tried to do it differently. And that happens whether the concern is where they are physically spending their time, so where their physical body is at, or whether the concern is more about where they are emotionally and mentally investing their time, right? Because you can physically be somewhere and emotionally, mentally not even be there, not even be present, right? And still that's not managing your time effectively. For many people, it's a combination of all of the above, which makes it all the more confusing and frustrating and makes it impact your quality of life even more. So it is an area that is in need of development because it is impacting all of our quality of life if we're not managing it deliberately, okay? There are tons of time management practices, tips, strategies that are out there. Just do a simple Google search if you haven't already, and it is going to populate a bunch of them for you. Okay, there's so many out there. I'm not going to tell you that one is right or one is wrong. What I'm going to tell you is that even though these practical steps can seem enticing to implement, that these tools could be helpful for some people, For many people, it's just not enough, right? So a lot of people are just going to glaze over the tips, or they're going to try to execute them, and they're not going to consistently follow through, or they're going to feel like they're failing at the execution of putting them into place. And that's because the clarity and the motivation pieces are missing. Okay, so you can't just do time management strategies, tips, and tools without clarity and motivation pieces in place. You have to pull all three together. This creates a kind of effortness in searching and trialing and failing. And that becomes a cycle, because I search, I try, I fail, I search, I try, I fail. Like, I'm searching for the answers, I try the answers, I fail at executing the answers, and now I feel more frustrated, I feel bad about myself, right? And that makes it less likely that you're going to continue to try something different, and it makes it more likely that you're going to keep doing what you've been doing, even if it really isn't serving you, okay? I mean, it leaves many go-getters feeling more frustrated, more confused than they were, and more tired. Right? Less effort, less energy that you want to expend on trying to figure out what's going to help you manage your time differently, gain control of your life better, right? So if you want to feel more satisfied about how you're investing and budgeting your time, then you're going to have to go deeper than what any article, including this one, app, or calendar can offer you. It's got to get more personal than that. It's got to get more intimate than that. Why? Because the mental clutter that has been making it hard to focus and to orient your time differently in the first place, it is not the primary symptom of your poor time management or your time management challenges. The time management issues are most likely a byproduct of that mental clutter and underlying emotional experiences that just haven't properly been addressed or assessed or processed, or whatever the case may be for you, okay? And so when the mental clutter and the underlying emotional experiences haven't been properly addressed, that leads to the time management challenges. And these pieces then play off of one another. So now it's hard to manage time. And so the other mental clutter and the underlying emotional pieces are harder to deal with. And it makes it even harder to manage time, right? And it goes like a ping pong ball, back and forth, and compounds itself. Familiar? It makes sense then that time management is more than just strategies or tips or techniques that you look up on Google. Time management is also about life management, right? Like relationships. It's about stress management, right? Your emotions. They're all connected. They're all wrapped up in one another in some way. You can't effectively manage your life if you can't effectively manage your time. Yet, you can't effectively manage your time if you don't know how to effectively manage your emotions, your stress levels, right? And this is where clarity comes in. This is why clarity is so important, because if you're not clear on how you want to manage your time, on why you want to manage it that way, on what's getting in the way of you managing it differently, then you are not going to be able to effectively and sustainably manage your time. The cycle is going to continue, whatever that cycle looks like for you. And that's why these above three questions, the how, the why, and the what, are really driven by how you feel and what matters most to you, okay? Although plenty of people think that they're clear on this, that they got this down, it's amazing how confused they feel when we actually sit down to intentionally sift through this, okay? So if you're in that boat, I would encourage you to still go a little bit deeper if that feels right and safe for you. And if it doesn't, connect with a professional, whether it's me that you feel like you're a good fit with or someone else, so that you can get the additional support you need to dive deeper here, okay? It does matter. It does make a difference. How you feel and what matters most to you naturally is going to include your emotions. So don't try to leave those out of this, okay? With clarity comes motivation. The more clear you become, the more motivated you become to spend your time in a certain way. But in turn, the more motivated you feel, often the more clear that you continue to become, right? So clarity feeds motivation, motivation feeds clarity. Okay, and that helps you to become even more intentional about how you're spending your time, about why you're spending it the way you are. All right, together, this increased clarity, this boosted motivation, it can help you to more effectively, more sustainably shift the behavior and the emotions that need shifting in order for you to more effectively and desirably, right, allocate your time the way that you want. All right. So you're going to feel and become more equipped to execute on those tips, those tools, those techniques that you learn about, whether it's on Google or elsewhere, once you have these other pieces in place. All right, but this is not a simple thing. It's not like a light switch. You need to take some time with this, all right? You can break that frustration and exhaustion kind of cycle, that annoying search, trial, and fail cycle that happens for many folks if you get more intentional here. So how do you do that? Let's talk about this. I'm really glad you've asked. I'm going to walk you through 8 steps. These are going to be questions that you're going to ask yourself, and I would encourage you to write the answer down. Be honest with yourself and get clear there, okay? Number 1. Identify what area of your life you would like to improve upon for your time management. What area of your life you would like to improve your time management in? Be specific, be clear. Try to pinpoint a particular area, okay? And remember, time management is not just about where you are physically. It's not just about where your body is at. Time management is also about where you are mentally and emotionally spending your time as well. If you are present mentally and emotionally where your body is physically. Okay, so if you're physically at work a lot, but your mind's often elsewhere, then you're still not spending your time in the most efficient way, still not managing your time in a desirable way. And the same is vice versa, right? If you're at home, but you're not able to be present with those that you're with, your time is still not being used in a way that feels good to you, right? You're still not feeling in control of your life. You're still not feeling like you're mastering your life. It still doesn't feel balanced, does it? No. All right, so don't leave those pieces out when you're getting clear about what area of your life you would like to improve your time management in, okay? Push pause and take some time to do that. Okay, number 2, how are you benefiting from the way things currently are? What are you getting out of how you are currently doing things? You need to consider what you are getting out of doing things the way that you're doing, okay? If you spend a lot of time at work and less time at home, are you gaining the benefit of a hardworking, always reliable reputation at work? Are you gaining more money, or are you feeling more needed? Are you gaining a quiet space to focus on your work after hours because you wouldn't otherwise get it at home or during the distraction-filled part of the day when everyone else is there? Be honest with yourself, okay? Pause, answer, and then come to number 3. Number 3, what are you avoiding by spending your time the way you currently are? What are you avoiding by spending your time the way you currently are? Maybe you're avoiding going home because you don't want to deal with an angry partner or a stressed out family member or a highly energetic child. Maybe you're staying busy, getting things done in one place because you don't want to deal with the anxiety issues that are popping up in another place, or you feel less confident about getting things done in a different area of your life. Take some time, be honest with yourself, and see what comes up there. Number 4, how do you feel about these reasons that you've listed so far? Are you satisfied with these? Are you okay with these reasons being the reasons why you're spending your time the way you're spending your time? Or there may be some unexpected consequences happening that you're now becoming more aware of, or that you're recognizing you need to become more aware of. Maybe, for example, you are wondering, is it worth it to gain this high achieving reputation at work at the expense of losing a more meaningful connection with my partner? Does it seem like the only way to have a good reputation at work means sacrificing important relationships in your life? Or does part of you believe there could be a middle ground where you could have both? If you keep avoiding that thing, are you really expecting for it to go away or get better? Is that happening? Is that the case? Is it really working out for you? Just be honest with yourself and see what comes up there. Number 5, what specifically do you want to see change about how you're spending your time in this area of your life specifically? Get specific here, okay? Do you want to specifically spend X amount of hours more per week with your partner that is actually enjoyable, doing something that's actually fun? Do you want to spend X amount of hours less at work? Do you need to delegate certain things in certain areas, right? So just be super specific here. The more specific, the more powerful. Number 6, what makes these changes so important to you? How would your life experience change if they happened? How might it impact how you feel, how you think, how you navigate your life? Remember, how you feel matters, okay? Maybe these changes would pretty significantly change your life. What would that look like? Pause, take a time, the time that you need to answer that question. Number 7, if I told you that you could have all these changes by tomorrow, What resistance comes up within you, if any? What worries or barriers pop up? When we want to make big or important changes in our life, but we're told we can get them super fast, it can feel both enticing yet scary. It can feel exciting yet have the skepticism about it. There's a reason for the scary and the skeptical. There's also a reason for the enticing and the excitement, right? It's new, but it also is going to require ongoing change. And so to be told that it can happen immediately, something's going to come up inside of you. Whatever that is, explore it. Whether it's more excitement, more skepticism, combination of both, whatever that is, explore it. Because if you do not explore it and get familiar with it now, it's going to come back up and catch up with you later. All right, so pause, take some time there. Number 8, given the data you've collected so far, all that you've written out, what's the next step that you're willing to take to begin making this time shift in your schedule? What is one next step that you are willing to take to begin making this time shift in your schedule? Listen, it can feel overwhelming to do too much at once. So to try to change your entire life all in a few moments or a few days or even a few weeks, right? That can feel overwhelming, okay? And then it doesn't feel as attainable, and then you're not going to follow through. So start with one step in this one area. It's going to feel more achievable, okay? And hold yourself accountable there. Now, if there's concerns about the accountability, about sticking with it, then I would encourage you to reach out. Again, if there's a connection here and you believe that I could support you, reach out to me. I will gladly assess to see if I'm the coach for you, if I'm the life advisor to you, to help get these pieces into place for you so that it can be both effective and sustainable. All right, but starting with one step feels much more achievable, and it can also be hard to stay accountable with changing patterns or changing behaviors in your life if you are trying to do too much. Okay, so find accountability, choose what step you're going to take, stick with it. And if there's a concern about sticking with it, reach out, connect, be it with me or a different professional that you know is able to serve you powerfully. All right, you've got this. You've got your 8 steps. You know that you need to take some time with this, that you need to be honest with yourself. If you didn't pause and write your responses out, I highly encourage you to do so, okay? Because you can manage your time differently. It's just you can't do it by reading a few tips or strategies or techniques. You got to go deeper, all right? If you want help with that, you know who I am, Dr. Toni, Dr. Toni Coaches. I'm here to be the life advisor for you, the busy professional, the ambitious leader, businesses out there as well. If you know you need some more wellness for your staff, connect with me and we will create a customized plan for you, for your staff, or if you're an individual leader, I want to serve you as well, okay? So go ahead and connect, hello@drtonicoaches.com or click one of the links below. Until next time.